Welcome to Warriors in Quiet Waters virtual fishing experience. In today's episode, Fishing Operations Manager Jesse Leneve and special guest fishing guide Grant Grigsby show us how to find trout and navigate streams. It's July in Big Sky Country.
How's it going? Jesse Leneve here, Fishing Operations Manager for Warriors in Quiet Waters. Today we're out here talking a little bit about reading the water, new approaches on your home water, and just some thoughts and ideas. Today we're going to introduce one of our longtime warrior guides, Grant Grigsby. Hello. Some of the first things we do before we enter the water is look around, check out the scene, turn a rock over, see if there's flies going on, some hatches, check your surroundings, watch for trees, which way is the sun aiming. Think before you approach the water. When it comes to river safety on small waters, we really like the waiting staff for safety, balance, and it's just nice to have along for all day need. And always remember, you need good traction out there. River sandals, wading boots. Sometimes you need extra aluminum cleats on the bottom for extra traction in harsh conditions. But make sure you've got proper footing to get into the water.
Hello, it's Grant Grigsby. We're going to talk about reading water here when you come right up to it. So if we look right at the stream right here, right off the bat you see this nice shallow pool. But look at the depth, pretty shallow. So predators will be able to see those fish in there. But if we look out just a little bit further, we'll break this down into 4 pieces. Look out a little bit further, gets a little bit deeper, and you see right out there, there's just a little bit calmer pool. We'll call that area number 2. Fish would definitely hold in that. Out in the middle where it's really fast, we'll call that 3. Fish are going to have to work really hard to get food out of there and expend a lot of energy. And then if we look on the other side, we'll call that 4. There's a nice pool right behind that big boulder. Fish will hang out in there as well. They got a nice cover, food's coming right to them, they don't have to do anything. So we'll move out to 2. We'll go out a little bit further there. Woo! Strike. Work that a little bit. See what happens. Right there, there's a fish. Right where we thought one would be. And he's gone. So we'll talk about using like an indicator rig or like what I've got going on here, a dry dropper. So when you set up like a indicator rig nymphing, you look at the water that you're fishing, and when you set that up, you want your bobber to your top fly to be twice the water depth. General rule of thumb. So we're looking out there in that middle where it's a little deeper. We're looking at probably maybe 2 to 3 feet deep. So with my dry dropper rig, I've got that set up with about a 2 foot dropper. With your nymphing rig, you'll probably go a little bit deeper because you want that to drop down into that pool. And where those flies sit in relation to that indicator is not directly below them, but it's actually upstream. So it takes a little bit more for those nymphs to get down to the bottom. So talking about how fish lie in these streams, rivers, little creeks like this, as opposed to like ponds and lakes where they kind of cruise around in certain lanes. In the rivers, in streams like this, they actually sit upstream. They just sit there and wait for food to come to them. So their noses are facing into the current. So when we present our flies to them, we want to put our flies above where we think they are so they drift into that strike zone. Wade fishing streams like this, at some point in time, you're going to have to cross. So you want to find a nice shallow spot that you're going to be able to get across. So where we were fishing right there, it's a little deeper, so that's probably not going to be the best spot. So what I'm looking at right here is this little riffle that comes down to the next pool. So when you cross going downstream, we want to angle ourselves downstream, take her nice and easy, make sure you got a good foot holding when you cross. So when you come back across working upstream, angle yourself upstream. Don't, whether you're going downstream or upstream, don't ever try to walk straight across. What happens is that current in some spots will start to slip your feet out from under you. So always go at an angle. The other thing is when you walk through the stream, fill with your feet. Don't walk with your eyes.
Whenever we're out just cruising around, watch these depths of this water because it can rapidly get deep fast. So watch for the turbid water here and approach back and move upriver and find shallower, easier spots to cross. Now these back cycle things have this recirculation here that can be very dangerous. So avoid them at all costs and stay out of harm's way. And along these big boulders, however, they can be a great spot to fish. Just don't walk weight in there, fish from shore. There's a few caddis here flying around in the trees. They hang out here in the daytime. They'll be returning to the river tonight, so we'll be anticipating a nice evening caddis hatch. So here's a new spot we're gonna try here. You notice we've got the upper run here. It's dropping into these pools. You got a really nice boulder that's gonna house fish to sit in there. You can even see a little bit of white foam in front of the rock. Behind the rock's a great spot to fish. Gonna go right through the run and then out to the tail out here. So I'm gonna walk down all the way to the end, trying to keep away from the fish and then work my way back upstream and fish my way up into these holes.
Here Jesse checks for larvae and other insect life, in other words, trout food, before he ties on a fly.
I'll get behind out into the middle of the river here and work my way up. Smaller water, I'll start up this way and work myself upstream. Not only can I sneak up on the fish, but it avoids the trees from my flies getting caught on them. And oop, there's a rock. Really nice way to work my way upriver. And here in July, Montana, it also feels good to be in the river, cooling off a little bit. You can see this rock in the middle, kind of work behind it. Just looking for them. A lot of this water too, I won't spend a lot of time in. I just keep moving. You know, don't focus on one spot. There's probably fish there. Maybe they're not hungry right now, so I'm looking for the hungry ones. Trying to keep my line control under control here. Try not to cast too far. If I don't get a strike through here, I'm probably going to change my rig. Good water. There was a fish. Another good example of how the water depth is going to change rapidly, even though it looks it's the same. It's above my waistline, not too far out from here. I really like the dry dropper approach. Not seeing a lot of rising fish, but nice rig for the small water. One thing I was looking at here is that we watch the sun too. If the sun's on our back, it's gonna cast that shadow up and onto the fish here. So you notice here my shadow's behind me. On really low, clear water, I do not want to cast a big shadow. Here's some PMDs flying around. There's a PMD just Just starting to fly around now. I'm gonna switch it up and try a little stonefly nymph. Oh, come on now. There he is. Yep. Good fish always needs a good net, man. Ate the stonefly nymph. All right, well, we were just fishing those deep pocket waters up there, and now we're down here looking at this upper flat that's just gonna continue down almost to the green grass down there. And with these PMDs starting, we're gonna be looking for dry flies. Now this flat right here is gonna hold fish. The nymphs are coming into them, and it's just a great spot to relax and watch and approach a fish that's rising. So we're gonna kind of wait and see, change our rig, and kind of let them show themselves before we fish to them. And I'm just gonna kind of delicately walk in here because this is really shallow water now, and I've just got about a size 16 dry fly. And again, I'm not gonna make a long cast. I'm gonna start short in case something's sitting right out in front of me here. And I'm notorious for casting the trees, so I'll always look behind me before I cast. So make sure you look behind you and then make your initial cast and get yourself going. Just make a couple of short little casts. Then I saw a couple fish feed straight in front of me here, so I'm gonna kind of get my body position. I've got that bush behind me. Saying thanks but no thanks. You want to try the dry dropper rig in there, Grant?
Casts don't always have to be perfect. They get in the general area, fish it. There we go, that's where I want to go. So one thing that we can talk about, though, is that if I'm up against a bunch of bushes and stuff like that where I can't make a back cast, what we could do is a roll cast right back into it. Roll right into it, make a mend and every good thing like that. Now that's one way, but if we're running a nice long stretch there, I can also do a roll cast from right here. Just lift that up and go right upstream with it. Both ways work extremely well. When you've got bushes behind you and you can't make that back cast, a different form of roll cast works very well. Especially on these small little streams. They don't have to be perfect. If you're not going to get it up, don't need to get it out there very far. So I'll demonstrate that other one again there, where it comes straight down below you. Just lift up that rod tip, point your reel right to the center of the river, and point your rod tip right where you want to go, making an arc as you do that. Well, maybe we educated those fish in there.
Well, you'll notice we're really moving around today, and one of my favorite spots is finding these big foam back eddies, and great ambush spot for a brown trout to sit back in there and catch food coming by. So I'm gonna get right down here and try to make a nice delicate cast just above that foam corner there and see if I can pull a fish out of there. And it's always a fun little challenge, so we're gonna go try it. You'll notice here I'm just kind of slowly working my way out. I always fish my way to the run. Don't just cast right to the honey hole, because the fish could be right here. Imagine that fly floating right into that fish's face. We'll get one out there for persistent. You gotta sneak yourself. Positions everything. Now we're gonna go right into the foam there. I'm gonna have to high stick. This is a kind of a funny little cast here. Grateful we got a single, I guess. I'm gonna try it a couple more here. I'm just trying to balance that fly right in that slot. Can't believe nobody's picking it up. Oh, he hit it right there. Nice little rainbow. Again, this fish was caught before the hole, so.
After a great day of fishing, Jesse and Grant head back to the honey hole at the top of the stream where our day began.
Well, we've covered quite a bit of water today. Pocket water, shallow runs and riffles. One of the other ones we like to look for are these big flats that create slow eddies off these drop-offs, creating just a perfect lane for the fish to live in here. And we just caught that nice brown trout right there on a dry fly. And anytime you find a big drop into a slow run with foam and a little bit of cover, you're gonna find trout. All right, well, we had a great day out here. Got to see some new water. We tried some new things. Tried various runs, riffles, drops, ledges, different flies. Had a little appearance by Grant Grigsby. Mike and Barbara on scene, of course. And just always encourage you to try new things, learn about your local water, and keep enjoying it.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your continued support of the Warriors in Quiet Waters Foundation. Happy fishing!